Welcome to Woohoo Wednesday! Today I'm in Amsterdam, and this week we wanted to talk to you about changing your perspective. Now, if you have innovation in your job title or your job description, if you aren't changing your perspective constantly, you can really miss an opportunity to disrupt or to innovate your own space. So I want to talk to you about how I do this when I'm gone, when I'm home, where I'm just collecting stimulus all the time. You can collect stimulus everywhere you are, but I am really a fan of going into supermarkets in foreign countries. I can spend hours in a grocery store in a foreign country. And I do this often, even if I've been to a country before, because they always have new things and they always have different things from their culture that I think, wow, why didn't we think of that? And how can we apply that? But more importantly, I like to apply things that are really obvious in one category to another category and force them into a different space. So I want to talk to you about some things I saw while I was around Amsterdam. Now, my friend Mark is an innovation retail specialist, and he's on the tech side. And he said, oh, it's so fun to go with you on the consumer side, so let's go to the grocery store together. So we did, and we started to explore. And we came across the first inspiration that I thought, wow, this is really interesting. And you might say, wow, I can't believe she took a video of this. But I did because it's really cool. What's that, Mark?
This is a fresh ette soup, which is from the Netherlands, and this is something what the Dutch actually eat in the winter. It's a typical winter.
And how does it work? Do you add a broth?
But no, you put it in a pan and heat it up actually.
Cool.
But but you can make it yourself as well, with sausage in it.
Voila.
Wow.
So voila, we have soup in a bucket. There were other cool things that we saw, like these veggie kits, where they had all of these different veggies for different types of meals. So you could cut up all the veggies for a curry, or for a stew, or for a soup, and they came in the produce section so you didn't need to wander around. So those busy moms who still want to make something fresh and homemade don't need to go and pick and pack all of their things that they need for that meal. So then we wandered again into another veggie type of product, which was courgette pizza crusts and beet tortillas. Now, these were an interesting extension on the raw food, whole food, veggie craze that's happening in our society that I thought, wow, this is a really great way to smash something into something that is very familiar for me. Now, one of my favorite things that we saw was this ice cream. Now, we know how we all pack sausage, or not we all pack sausage, but when we buy sausage, they pack it in these tubes. And then the tubes are crimped at the end. It's very cheap packaging. It's very simple packaging. So I came across this ice cream and I said, Mark, what is this? He's like, it's ice cream that you cut. And so then I went and I asked my friend Hilda about this, and I asked her about the history of it.
Yes?
Your husband just showed me that sausage ice cream, but he didn't tell me the story. What's the story?
Well, when I was smaller, we used to have that ice cream in between waffles. And you just cut it and put it in between round waffles, and then you eat it like this.
And why is it important to cut it and be in that shape?
Sorry?
Why is it important to be in that shape?
Because the waffles are that kind of shape.
So it's just perfect fit.
Yeah, it's like a hamburger, but from ice cream.
Ah, even better, a hamburger from ice cream. I love it. Thank you.
So that video was a little dark, but I wanted to catch her in that moment. And what I loved about what she said at the end was, you eat it like a hamburger. Now think about this, as an innovator, how can you use a familiar habit, a ritual, a motion, some kind of gesture, whatever you do in a different category, and then apply it to your category with something that is really exciting and fun. So they had made it into a hamburger using these very traditional waffles and using what would normally be sausage cut into pieces with this ice cream to make it like a hamburger. Super fun, super easy. It made me think about, how could I do this in a different category? How could I apply packaging from a category close in to category to a category that I'm working on? Finally, we were talking about all of the different kinds of packaging innovation that we saw. And I saw all sorts of really interesting display innovation. So this Red Bull racing car sponsorship where they built a racing car end cap on the end of the display. And I thought, wow, that is such a cool way to activate a sponsorship and bring that into an experience. And I looked at all these beer labels and I thought, wow, I could see those in a deodorant line. I could just see those transferring into other industries or other categories. Now, if you say, Tracy, I don't travel all the time and my boring grocery stores don't have that much stimulus. Well, you know what? I don't believe it. I think you're probably close enough to Chinatown or to a foreign food store that you could go to that you go, wow, this is really interesting how they're packaging this, how they're marketing it, how they're labeling it. You might even just look at branding of different products that are outside of your category, like this beer that is a bright beer instead of a light beer. I loved that. Or this mild orange juice, which I asked my friend about, and she said it's soft. It's a soft orange juice. I love the fact that I got new benefit language that I could apply to maybe a work project that we have at Bamboo. So you can get this stimulus anywhere. If you work in a particular category like makeup, get your butt into a hardware store. If you work in hardware, get your tail into a pet food store. But get out of your space, get out of your retail category, get out of your environment as much as you can, and then keep your eyes really wide open. Things that you think are obvious or literal that you don't need to write down actually could help you go somewhere new. So I hope you have fun with it. I hope you challenge yourself to collect stimulus wherever you are, wherever you go. And let us know if you need any help, because we're really good at this and it just becomes a muscle. Again, we're teaching you how to build these innovation muscles that you might think are not that important, but they really are critical to you being able to be disruptive. Have a fabulous week.